Welcome, everybody, to Bible Bites. I'm Pastor Dan. We're reading through the Bible one small bite at a time. We're in Matthew 27. Previous video, we saw Jesus was crucified, and now he's on the cross, so we're going to continue with him hanging on the cross, starting in verse 45. Now, from the 6th hour, that is noon, there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour, that is 3 o'clock. And about the 9th hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lima sabachthani? That is, my God, why have you forsaken me? That is a transliteration of Aramaic, which Jesus spoke. Not everybody spoke Aramaic. We're going to see in a second. They didn't really quite understand what he was saying. And some of the bystanders hearing it said, this man is calling Elijah. He wasn't really calling for Elijah. They just misunderstood. And one of them at once ran and took a sponge, filled it with sour wine, put it on a reed, and gave it to him to drink. But the others said, wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to save him. And Jesus cried out again with a loud voice and yielded up his spirit. That means he died. He breathed his last. And behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. That's significant because the curtain in Herod's temple, this is what it's referring to, was huge. It's a huge curtain, massive, much taller than any man could reach. It was also a very thick curtain, not something man could tear with his hands. And it separated the most holy place, what was called the Holy of Holies, from the rest of the temple. No one could go into that most holy place except for the high priest, and he could only do that one time a year. So the curtain being torn is God's way of saying that everyone now has access to me. Through Jesus Christ, we have forgiveness of sins and access to God. So some of the bystanders, I'm sorry, I'm reading the section above it, verse 52. Oh, no, not even there. We want to, just before that, it says, and the earth shook and the rocks were split. So there's some cataclysmic events that are happening here. The tombs also were opened, and many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised. And coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, they went into the holy city, that is, to Jerusalem, and appeared to many. When the centurion, so that's literally people who, the dead were raised in Christ, the dead in God were raised, and people were seeing this. When the centurion and those who were with him keeping watch over Jesus saw the earthquake and what took place, they were filled with awe and said, truly this was the Son of God. So these cataclysmic events convinced some that Jesus was who he said he was. There were also many women there looking on from a distance who had followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering to him. So these were disciples of Jesus, women who had help support his ministry, help take care of Jesus and his disciples. And it says, among whom were Mary Magdalene, Jesus had cast demons out of her, Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, that very well may be Jesus' mother as well. Why, I don't know why it doesn't say Jesus' mother, but James was a brother of Jesus. He also writes the book of James, that would become the pastor in Jerusalem. And it says, and the mother of the sons of Zebedee, which are James and John, two followers of Jesus. Verse 57, when it was evening, there came a rich man from Arimathea, that's an area or region. His name was Joseph, who also was a disciple of Jesus. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then Pilate ordered it to be given to him. And Joseph took the body and wrapped it in clean linen shroud, which would have been customary in that day, and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had cut out in the rock. Joseph would have had his own tomb because he was a rich man. It was cut out of the rock. It was almost like a little bit of a cave. And he says he rolled a great stone to the entrance of the tomb and went away. When it says a great stone, these stones were greater than one man would be able to move. So pretty big stone. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were there, sitting opposite the tomb. So they were watching what was taking place. Now we'll stop there and pick up in our next video, but until then, be blessed.